Hey everyone, Tony here. Happy Money Monday. Today was a very awesome day on YUMA. If you guys are living under a rock or you just don't know, over the weekend, Saudi Arabia's largest oil producing facility was attacked by an airstrike, and this caused lots of hype and lots of just fear, hype, whatever, in the oil markets and also in the small cap market, because people were thinking that if they can trade these stocks that are in the energy sector, they can make, a lot of money overnight, because less supply means prices go up. So this caused lots of emotions, lots of hype, and it caused lots of opportunity if you were smart about it. If you let the emotions get to you, then you probably lost today. So we're going to break down my trade on YUMA, my entries, my exits, my thought process behind it, everything in between. We're going to break it down very in depth. So make sure you guys stick around to the end of this video, and hope you guys enjoy. All right, so like I said, YUMA was the biggest mover of today because of that news over the weekend on the attack on Saudi Arabia's oil facility. And this caused lots of hype, lots of confusion, lots of FOMO, and everything in between in the small cap energy market. So just doing some preliminary analysis on YUMA, we can see that the float is 889,000 shares. That's a very, very low float. And that's pretty much all we need to know about it. It's in the oil and gas industry and headquartered in Texas. So that was pretty much all the catalysts that we needed for YUMA. And the reason why it was YUMA in particular that was one of the main runners is because YUMA was also one of the main runners last week. On September 11th, they released some news, I believe, and it had this gap up from 183 and hit a high of around 514 with overall resistance in the 480s. And this resistance is going to be very important in a few minutes, so just keep that in mind. And we can see that over the past few days after that, fell down, consolidated around the $3 area, and then because of that news over the weekend, it shot up, had a big gap up. In pre-market alone, it ran from like 350s and hit a high of around 706 or 708. So very, very big FOMO move. And one of the main things I was reading on Twitter and stock twits, during pre-market, is that like everyone just like hyped up thinking that, okay, at market open, I'm going to buy it. It's going to go to $10, $15, $20. This is big news. And this is one of the main things I was telling my traders in the pre-market webinar in Trade Buddy, is that like, don't let this type of overreaction of news let you break your rules. Don't let any type of news let you break your rules, because that is just a disaster waiting to happen. Don't chase the stock. Make sure that you only trade a setup that that's based on your rules. And if you miss it, then you miss it. It's fine. No one trade is going to change your career. So don't let one trade let you break your rules, because then more times it's going to turn into a big loss and not a big win. So, in the pre-market, I didn't really want to buy any breakout because I just don't do that. And I was just kind of doing some just pre-market analysis on this, saying, okay, well, if we just focus on the chart and the chart alone, using the 5-minute chart, we can see that, previous resistance in pre-market was at 480s. And one of the most basic things of technical analysis is that previous resistance should act as new support. So if you just use that one piece of information, and that one piece of information alone, take out all the noise, all the BS about, oh, it's great news, oh, it's going to hold $5 support, anything. If you just use that one piece of information, then you could have nailed this dip buy, and you could have had a very solid trade. So this is why I'm such a big proponent of repeating to my students that just keep it simple. Don't make it too complicated. Don't flood your chart with indicators, EMAs, all that stuff, because everything in the end boils back down to the basics. It works. I've been trading for 5 years, and I've seen it time and time again that it always just goes back down to the basics of support and resistance. So yeah, like I said, you could use that one piece of information, and that's all you need. But of course, I'll give you guys some more information. So number two thing too is that, I know lots of people were really wanting to buy this dip, right? Everyone was trying to find where this was going to hold support. And one thing that you have to understand is that lots of traders, they don't like buying into downtrends. They really like to buy into what they call confirmation. It's like some random breakout over a candlestick. I don't know why they think that's confirmation. Now, for example, you can see that right here at 9:45 a.m., it did bounce pretty nicely off of $5, so almost perfectly off 501. Made this tiny consolidation candle, and something that people like to really do is they like to buy the breakout above two candles next to each other after a bounce off what they call support, because then that means that, okay, we had the support bounce and now it's uptrending. So I can guarantee you that there were so many traders who bought this breakout over 530, and because they want to minimize their risk, they're going to say, okay, well, the bottom of this candle is $5, so I'm going to put my stop in the 490s, because if it breaks $5, then it's broken and the pattern's broken, right? Don't know why they think that. And you can see that, lots of people bought into this breakout because it spiked up from 530s to the 540s, but then it got slammed right back down and it took out all of their stops. And this situation here is what I like to call an area of accumulation. It's just a fancy word. It doesn't really mean too much, but it basically means an area where people, dumb traders, have their stop even though the stock is still above previous resistance as support. So don't fall into this idea of, buying into confirmation, buying into momentum. It's a losing strategy. Just focus on the basics, focus on the chart, and just look at the chart. Like, this isn't hindsight, guys. Like, you can use the previous chart history and say, okay, previous resistance is at 481. I will place my order at 481, and then just wait for it to come to you. And one of the main things I said in the Trade Buddy chat room was that, look, this was at 7:01 a.m. This is at 9:01, or I think like 10 a.m. market time. No, up here at 6:54 a.m. So 9:54 a.m. market time. I said very good chance that YUMA is going to tick out stops under 5. The chart is truly broken once it breaks 465. And then 5 minutes later, I said, yep, YUMA went stop fishing under $5. Just basic trader psychology. And the thing I say about, the chart's only broken underneath 465 is just the simple fact that, okay, well, the previous level of support was at 465 right here. So theoretically, right, like this stock had the chance like to pull back all the way down to 465 and then make a double bottom and bounce off there. That would still be a bullish move, right? So why would you want to stop out under 5 if previous resistance is at 485 and previous level of support is at 465? Like, you're getting in too early, and you need to stop buying into FOMO, and you need to stop breaking those rules, those very basic rules of trading. So, like I said, I went long at 481, just using that very basic rule of previous resistance holding as new support. And then someone also asked me later on, right here, like, where's my price target? And I told them, this was 13 hours ago. Like right now, it's 8:16 p.m. in Pacific time. So I think market's been closed for 7 hours or so. And I said VWAP and then 620. So now, before I get too far ahead of myself, one more thing too with this 480 area, like I said earlier, is that if you just zoom out, you can see that because of the price action that happened last week, previous resistance right here, previous resistance is going to be new support. Very, very basic idea. You don't need to complicate it more than that. So stop complicating it more than that. And, now to continue that thought, like, once again, if you just use the past history, this is not hindsight, guys. If you just use the past history, you can see that the support in pre-market way up here was around 623. And for me personally, whenever I lock in profits and I have like a resistance line to play off of, I don't like to go for the exact line. I like to undercut it a few cents just because then it's a higher chance of being filled. And who cares about a few cents when you have a move that's $1.50 per share? It doesn't matter too much. And that's what I plan my trade on. And of course, one thing too that I do just to protect myself and lock in profits along the way is that, whenever the stock is this far underneath the VWAP, I like to lock in half my profits into the VWAP test, just in case there's a scenario where the stock bounces, tests VWAP, and then falls down and breaks support. Because when this happens, at least I paid myself at this resistance, and even if this falls apart, I can stop out the rest, break even, and still make a profit on the trade. So that's just like one thing that helps me personally helps me keep my profits a bit better. But also, like I said in the chat room 13 hours ago, my next target after that is 620. And you can see I almost, not perfectly, but I almost hit the very top of this. The high of day was 624 right here. And I said 13 hours ago, I'm going to be using VWAP and then 620. So this is not hindsight. This is just basic use of technical analysis, not complicating it any more than that. And just throwing in some just trader psychology along the way with that. So don't complicate it too much. Focus on the basics. And as always, don't let some type of news let you break your rules, because end of the day is that when it comes to trading, you have to make sure that you're trading some sort of repeatable system. And for me, that repeatable system is basing my trades off of the 5-minute chart, finding those levels of previous levels of resistance as support, and finding those levels of previous levels of support as resistance. And all the time I get questions like, hey, Tony, well, like what if it doesn't go down to your level and it bounces higher than that? What do you do? Do you buy in higher? I'm like, no, I don't, because that's not following my system. And you're not going to be able to trade every single stock, every single bounce all the time. And you just have to accept that. If you can stick to being very disciplined and trading only when your system is fulfilled, and with me, what that means is having the stock pull all the way back down to the levels that I have on the chart, then you take action on those trades. But anything else, you have to leave those out and ignore them, because those will bring your profitability way, way down if you break those rules and try to find a different way to trade. So follow your rules, be disciplined, and just don't let any type of news, no matter how big the news is, don't let it break your way of trading, because that is a losing strategy. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do me a favor, hit the like button. And if you want to be notified of future videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button next to that. If you have any questions on this content, leave a comment down below and I'd be happy to help you out. I want to give you guys some more free upfront value just because that's the type of person I am. There's a link down below for a free trading workshop. You get a video course, a complete video course on the basics of trading, and also my top 3 PDFs of how to trade. There's my free ebook, how to day trade every single morning, my personal trading checklist that I use every single day to trade, and also my top 10 trading strategies that I use and my members in TradeBuddy use to trade the markets and make profits. So like I said, there's a link down below for that. Check it out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great day.